Okay, boys and girls, I'm here walking the streets. I'm walking the streets of Grand Rapids, Michigan. There's snow on the ground, and there's rock salt on the sidewalk, and it's chilly. Even holding this phone with my hand is going to get old in a minute or two because it's cold out. I got my hands in my pockets. All right, I'm making this communication to Linda and Carl, reminding you that the father that adopted me, Alfred Carl Lintner, his middle name is Carl. So I had a Carl in my life, important Carl. And I'm making this video partly because of the other guy, Ian, that introduced the two of these, and partly for Calvin, the cheerful, happy, musical guy that they call pastor. And I need to tell you about myself, because I am called to be courageous. I want to let you know that church people blocked the understanding. They blocked the understanding from me. The church people blocked the understanding. Yes, I love them, and I don't hate or condemn them, but I'm telling you, a lack of understanding was all over my younger life. And I ruined myself, and I ruined my friends, and I sidetracked my life, and I wasted a lot of time because some simple points of understanding were not touched on. All right. I had a very strange conception, very common. My mother did not know who the father was because there was intimacy with a series of people in a short period of time. But I did not find out about that, my own conception, in the midst of a measure of pleasure. I did not find out about my own conception until I was 25 years old, and I was personally engaged in some wasteful and foolish sharing of pleasure in relatively large measure. So, in the scriptures it says, seek understanding. Seek understanding. When I was a young man, it became obvious to me that my own personal arousal is very different than the arousal of a woman, and that I actually wanted to know and understand and have compassion and care towards the female human being and understand her passion and arousal. God crashed in on me in April 1994. I recently found out that in approximately 1996, in the world, some people in France and Australia discovered the actual physical form of an organ in our human family. That organ is called the clitoris. It's an erectile organ. And in simple terms, they discovered that the man has an obvious big stiffy on the outside, visible, but the woman has a large erectile tissue on the inside surrounding the vaginal canal, which means that there is an ability for the woman to both grip and enjoy the big stiffy of the man. Now let's move on to understanding about Jesus, he is called the architect at the side of God. He designed the way that we fit together like a puzzle. And it's very marvelous. It's very wonderful. And just the arousal and the good feeling itself is almost irresistible. But the neat thing is, Yeshua, our God and friend, came here personally, and he chose not to enjoy the feel-good of the two bodies coming together. That's really neat. That's pretty fascinating, that Jesus did not choose to enjoy the pleasure that he made for all human beings. Now, if we're thinking about eternal benefits and rewards, we understand that this life is very brief. Cut to the Francis Chan sermon with the rope. Tiny little end of a rope. That's this life. And then the rope goes on and 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 on into eternity. That's the next life. So the things that we're doing in this life is setting up the benefits for the next life. And Jesus says, if you can understand the benefit of walking single like me, you should actually do that. You should take on that lifestyle for your own life. If you can understand the benefit of the singleness lifestyle, well, if you understand the benefit, well, do it. Do it yourself. Did he say it was going to be easy? No. Did he say it was going to be easy? No, but it's a thing that you can choose. It's a thing that you can choose to do. So, if we are people who claim to know God, our job is not just coming together in a big box building and talking about God and Jesus and singing about God and Jesus and reviewing all the things said about God and Jesus. It's not a Jesus information business that we're joining. It is an intimate, open-hearted, honesty family that we're joining, who meets together in homes, in clusters of families, because a spirit can actually overwhelm a single family. You need other brothers together to challenge other brothers to be their very best for the women and their children, and to follow all the points of obedience to the gospel. And that is a special, special topic. Around Family Honesty Camp, we declare 3 gifts from Jesus: the Holy Spirit and power, the teachings to the 12 apostles. If you read 2 John verse 8 to 11, you understand that there are Christians that don't have God, Christians that are doing a wicked work, Christians that you should not allow to influence your house church and your family. Why? Because they have set aside, forgotten, and pushed away the various detailed teachings of Yeshua to the apostles for the new covenant. Yes, that's right. When Jesus in John chapter 8 says, if you hold to my teachings, then you're really my disciples. If you don't hold to my teachings, then you're not really my disciples. If you hold to my teachings, you will embrace truth, and you will be set free from all your mess. So this is the introduction and the cheerful, honorable blessing to Linda and Carl and Ian and Calvin. I want you to know that since there was no cheerful, courageous conversation with me, Mommy and Daddy never said, we started a family around you, and we are the adoption family around you. They never told me about any of those things. They never said to me, okay, your body's going to get this amazing feel-good, and it's almost irresistible. But Song of Songs in 3 places, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 8, Song of Songs, Song of Solomon says, do not awaken arousal, passion, desire until it is time. Do not awaken the physical sexual pleasure until it is time. And I was never told that. If I had been told that when we got together for family communion with other families, some of the elders, the brothers, could be saying, okay, boys and girls, is your body going crazy a little bit? Well, if it is, put your hand up and we'll pray for you. And you can tell us what God's saying about your body. Maybe we need to help you find a person of your own. And they could have asked, do you have any problems with obsessions or fantasies or thoughts in your mind about things or people, stuff you want or people that you want to be with? Put your hand up and we'll pray for you. There's all kinds of funky little spirits around trying to attack and confuse. And we want to just be, we're a protection for you. We've been through a lot of stuff. And we want to protect you and help you be just okay, all right, good. So, the two things that I was never cheerfully talked about in my family and my upbringing is, number one, the marvelous feel-good of the marriage bed and sharing arousal together, which is a nice, happy, beautiful thing. That's why Papa always wants to kiss Mama, and that's why Mama is always jumping in Papa's lap. It's a good thing. And I was not told or conversed about, nobody talked about the feel-good of the Holy Spirit and the extra benefit of the surprise language, which actually strengthens you. If you want your kids to be strong, then you should be like Paul. Did you receive the Holy Spirit when you were baptized? Okay. If you didn't, well then we have to ask the Holy Spirit what we need to do to help you get baptized in the Holy Spirit. That's just all there is to it. It's a good thing. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to be baptized in the Holy Spirit. So those two things, cheerfully talking about the pleasure of the feel-good of the body and having a happy way of talking about being self-controlled. Mamas and papas can talk about how sometimes they're feeling a little crazy. And talking about the feel-good and the refreshment of the Holy Spirit. And the fact that we're strengthening ourselves when we're singing and praising and speaking in the heavenly language. Yes, the sirens are going off on Old Plainfield Avenue in Grand Rapids. And that's just about it. See, I'm making this video because I feel like maybe Mr. Ian disappeared as a Facebook friend, because I am building these courageous atmospheres of communication that may draw people's attentions that are not stuck in small-minded Christianity. One of my YouTube channels is called Christian Sex Daddy, because I want to be a kind, communicating father to the parents who are growing up and trying to raise some kids. And I've also got a title from the Holy Spirit called The Clitoris and Christianity. If you are not willing to talk about the hidden things, the hidden good things inside Christianity, and the hidden good things inside our physical human body, the woman, there's that one really neat video. It's called something like Why Jews Have the Best Sex. It's a rabbi's daughter describing that the only function of the clitoris in the whole human family is pleasure. It's a pleasurable organ. And that's a neat thing. And if we're not allowed to talk about that, then guess what? Maybe the bad demons will take over just like they did with me, because I was introduced to the feel-good of arousal when I was a youngster by very kind friends, and it felt really good, but I got stuck. I got stuck in what you might call arousal addiction for close to 40 years. And if we can't talk about that stuff with a fun, happy attitude and talk about how many train wrecks and difficulties happen, then we're not very courageous, or maybe we're not even walking with God, because God is the truth and the courage. Peace be with you. Please don't condemn me for trying to break the ice in the areas where I was not rescued and I was drowned and I frozen in darkness and foolishness. Peace be with you. Peace be with you all.